Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we are here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue, bringing you the adoptable animals of the week. And as usual, we are going to show you some cats and dogs who are in need of a second home, starting with Suki. And Suki is a female brown tabby cat who is about 2 or 3 years old. And she was trapped and brought into us, and we quickly find out how friendly and outgoing she is, such that we are offering her for adoption. We color code our cats blue, orange, and green, and that is so that you can determine which cats that we think are most likely going to be lap cats. And Suki is definitely an activity cat. Not that you can't hold her on your lap, as you see, expert Randy can do it, but it's not what she wants. She wants to walk around this room and see everything, and she is going to make someone very happy if they want the kind of cat that has a life of her own and doesn't need you to be around all of the time, which many people do want when they choose a cat. I do, for one. And Brandy said she likes to play in water. So that is definitely something to consider. If you have ever seen those cat water fountains, a lot of cats really like their drinking water to be moving water. And I would say that makes sense if you think about their instincts, that it's healthier to drink moving water in the wild than it is to drink pooled water. So you can buy now a bubbler that is the cat's bowl of water that recirculates, and some cats prefer that. She would definitely like to play in it, so that could be fun. So if you think that very attentive Suki would make a good match for you or someone that you know, you should come and meet her. We currently have almost 30 adult cats in need of new homes, and then plenty of kittens, a few of which you'll meet in a moment. Our next guest is Chloe, and Chloe is a very petite tortoiseshell cat with some white markings, very unique markings that make her very pretty. On her nose, she has a little caramel spot and a little black spot. She is quite young. She's only 8 to 10 months old herself, but she has already been the mother of 4, and those kittens are already grown up and adopted. So if you can imagine at 8 to 10 months old with 3-month-old kittens, that means she was just a baby when they were born. So a lot of times people don't realize that kittens can have kittens. It's possible for a cat of 6 months old to have kittens, and that is one of the reasons that veterinarians for years have recommended spaying them when they reach about 6 months old to prevent that first litter. And that is commonly how cats are collected in a neighborhood. So someone has noticed a kitten around, they assume the kitten belongs to someone, and then that kitten brings tinier kittens to their porch and says, "Hey, can I move in?" And then they realize that the cat has no owner and is in need of some help. So someone brought this little girl to us with her 4 babies, and through the help of our foster care providers, she has raised up her little ones and is ready for a home of her own, kitten that she is. So if you like tortoiseshell cats, which many people do, then she's definitely worth considering, because not only is she very pretty, but of course she's very gentle and sweet. And as you can see from her sitting on Randy's lap, she's tiny and probably always going to be that tiny. Once a cat reaches 8 to 10 months old, they're like at 80% of their full size. So as long as, the only other way for her to grow is wider, as we all can at middle age. So she is just a tiny little thing, and since she's already been a mom, she has a lot of information about the world. So I think she's going to make somebody a great little companion. If you are interested in her, check out her Pet Finder profile or come and meet her. Our next guest is one of many. So everyone, this is when it starts. I have been talking about kitten season since April because that's when they're born. However, we don't put them up for adoption until they weigh 3 pounds. That takes a little bit of time for a kitten to go from this big to 3 pounds. So this little kitten, Cinders, has some siblings who are also here, Cairo and, let me check. Caprice and Cairo. And they are 3 of many. We have so many kittens in the animal shelter right now that they do not all have interested parties. For those of you who came in the last month, it can be disappointing because you arrive at the shelter and there's about 10 kittens and you say, I like that one, oh, that one's taken. I like that one has an application that's going through the process. What about that one? That one also has, but not anymore. We have so many kittens in the shelter that most of them have no interested parties yet. The people who wanted kittens early have chosen, adopted, and taken them home. And between April and October, I say it a lot, I know, we get over 1,000 kittens. So these little guys are ready to go. As you know, we spay and neuter here, we microchip. We start them on their vaccines, we check them for leukemia, we treat them for fleas and worms. Many of them don't have them. We just treat everybody to make sure they're protected. And we will share all of that with you for your vet so you don't have to repeat that when you go to your vet to get your rabies shot, which you will need to do after adoption. Then a lot of the things that you would have needed from your vet are already taken care of for that first visit. And the rabies shot is paid for as part of your adoption if you go to a participating Frederick veterinarian, of which there are many. So they will get you started on the road to preventive medicine. And all of our cats also come with the microchip that has a 30-day free pet insurance policy. Now, a lot of times people ask us, is that going to automatically enroll me in anything, or do I have to give my credit card information? Nope, it really is free. 30 days of pet insurance for free. It only covers illness and injury, but really that's what insurance is for. So it's a great program offered by the microchip company, and of course they have to get something out of it. So what they get out of it is the ability to contact you and see if you want to buy one of their policies. But you will not be automatically signed up, and you are under no obligation to do so. So if you think you are up for the challenge of a kitten behaviorally, that's a completely different matter, and we can help you with that. We are back with Travis. And Travis and his littermate were found at Catoctin High School, and they are here awaiting adoption. He's a typical brown tabby, very curious little kitten, and he's getting ready to go on an adventure. And if you are interested in getting a kitten, there's a couple things that you should know. Of course, we recommend keeping them in the bathroom for a week in the beginning, and that is for several reasons. Number one, so you have a chance to bond with them before they hide someplace in your house. Number two is so that you have a chance to lay down some house rules before they find out that at night they can crash things and make you wake up and play. And we talk to you about all of that at the what we call an interview, and it is more an interview of us, because what we do is give you a bunch of information about what we've done medically for our animals and how to introduce them into their house, and then you ask us any question you want about what they'll need in the future. You can ask about house training, litter training, what your vet might have questions of you about what we've given them. We can explain to you what's on the medical form. Our veterinarians and medical techs write it, so your vet's going to understand it completely. But if you have any questions about what does this mean, what does that mean, we'll help you with that. And basically, we get you started so that you can go home and have the easiest time of introducing the kitten. And I can tell you, if you get a puppy or kitten from us, that the first week that you're home, you're going to be all excited and enamored of your new family member, and you're not going to have a care in the world because kids are excited to get home from school, you're excited to get home from work, you want to spend your weekends playing with your little new friend. everything's great. But that second week, you're probably gonna think, oh, what have I done to my life? Because now I have to come home right after school or work. I have to spend the weekends taking care of my kitty. And once you adjust to that new lifestyle, then it's all well worth it. But during that second week or whenever it occurs for you, we welcome you to call us and ask. Most of our employees provide foster care for these baby animals or injured animals or sick animals. So they have 1,000 ideas about ways to train, ways to manage diet, ways to contain animals. So call and ask. And if you didn't get your pet from us, we don't care. If you have a pet and you're having some issue that you aren't sure how to solve, call. Because separation anxiety and escaping are all reasons that people give up their pets. We would much rather that you call us and ask us for the simple fix. And if it works, everybody can be happy and stay together. We are back with Oliver, and Oliver is showing you what can happen with our little kittens. He is our last kitten because he is sneezing. So when kittens catch a cold, it's just like when a baby catches a cold. The linings of their eyes and nose get inflamed, and that is a natural immune system reaction to germs. So his immune system is trying to flush some germs out of his body, which is healthy. But what that means is he sneezes, he has runny eyes, and if he develops a fever or inappetence, doesn't feel like eating, then he will go in our sick room until he recovers. In the case of foster kittens, sometimes their foster homes come and recollect them and take them back home until they get better. And that means that sometimes when you come in to view kittens, you will see them on the floor and then they're gone. Just ask, because once he gets over his cold, he'll come back for adoption. Randy says maybe he's allergic to Randy. But one of the things we don't do for these kittens is while they have the weepy eye or sneezing, they don't get neutered. Because adding stress to their body during a time when they're trying to heal from something, even though the cold is a minor affliction, the vets do not want to add stress to the kitten while they're trying to recover from something. So we'll make sure when we take him back that that we make a note for the techs that he might have to go in the medical room. And just so you know, it's a separate room in the shelter that was in part donated to us by some benefactors. It has its separate air conditioning and heat. It has an air exchange so that when you go in, the air doesn't blow out through the door. And it's a way that we can keep our cats as safe as we possibly can from sharing germs. And by seeing this little kitten last, this disease is not passed on to dogs. So Randy's going to be working with dogs for the rest of the morning. And that means that we don't become the source of the germs, which is very possible. And now you know why we ask you when you come visit to hand sanitize between kittens, and why we have someone help you hold the animals so that we can try to make sure that we're not the cause of this disease spreading. Now, when he sneezes, his germs can fly like 3 to 5 feet. So that's also a reason that we place the cages the way that we do. The cages are all facing forward. They face blank walls so that we can manage this as best we can. But when you adopt a kitten, we offer you information about their medical health before they came to you, and to watch out for this when you take them home. But one of the things that we ask you to do at the time of adoption is to sign a little form saying that you understand to watch them for sneezing, runny eyes, runny nose for that first week that you have them home, to make sure that the stress of moving to a new place doesn't give them just the weakness needed for a germ to take hold. We will come back in a moment with some adoptable dogs from Frederick County Animal Control so that you can see if there's a good match for you.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she's actually not a morning person. I know she does strange tricks for no treats. I know that water makes her howl like crazy. I even know how the floor stays so clean. She's quick. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We are back with more, and our first canine guest is Kim. And Kim is a Chinese pug. That's the only kind of pug there is. And she is going to make somebody a lovely companion because she is bubbly and she loves people and she is responsive, easy to take care of with her short hair. She actually has an application by someone who has another pug. And as long as they get along, I think that application is going to go through. But she has some unique characteristics that are important to tell anyone who is interested in getting a purebred dog. You need to understand the breed you're interested in fully. Now, obviously, pugs are cute. That's the number one reason people like them. They have short hair, they're small, they're usually very effervescent, as Kim is, and they really like people. However, because of the short face, they are not very tolerant of heat and they are not long exercisers. So if you like to jog 5 miles a day, you might want to rethink if a pug is right for you. They also have, because of the shape of their face, there are some scientists who believe that their vision is a little different than other dogs. It's less panoramic and more front viewed, which there are some people who say it makes their binocular vision a little better, which means it's easier for them to understand TV. And now it's also more likely that they will stare at your face. So people really get attached to them because of that, because they look up at you and they have that loving gaze, and it's a very bonding experience for humans because we're a little narcissistic and we like it when our dogs stare into our face lovingly and make us feel good. So she's definitely capable of all of that. And in the case of her potential adoption, they have a pug at home. So if their dogs get along, then this is going to be a perfect match. I just wanted you to meet her in case that does not go through. One of the reasons that they're called pugs is because they're pugnacious, which means they don't always think all other dogs are wonderful, just people. We are back with Daisy, and Daisy has the beautiful boxer underbite. She is most likely at least part American Pit Bull Terrier. She's a beautiful brindle dog with white markings. And if you don't know what the underbite is, it's when their bottom jaw is bigger than their top jaw, so their bottom teeth stick out. And a lot of people find that endearing. It's very cute. A lot of pugs have it, like Kim that you just met. A lot of Shih Tzus have it. And it's part of the variety of genetics that dog breeds have, such that their top and bottom jaw are independently determined, the size that they're going to be. So sometimes their bottom teeth stick out instead of their top teeth overlapping. And she is 4 years old. We know her real birthday, which is January 15th. And her owners gave her up because they have a work schedule change that makes it so that they're never home. And while in some cases you can make that work out, for example, if you have a 4-year-old dog, then obviously the dog loves you more than anyone else, likes your family routine, and wants to be with you. So if your work schedule changes, you can do several things. You can consider doggy daycare if your dog enjoys strangers and other dogs. You can also think about getting a dog walker who comes in the middle of the day and entertains your dog for you while you're working. Depending on where you live and what your flexibility is, you can also see if a dog door and a kennel would work for you for a short time. You don't necessarily want the dog door to lead to your entire yard, because there's always the risk passersby can bother your dog, or even steal your dog. That does happen. Someone could leave a gate open. So you want to be careful about leaving your dog unattended with access to strangers. But there are ways that you can make the environment more flexible for your dog if you're gone long hours. But in some cases, there are issues you can't control that make you consider what's best for your dog. There was a gentleman a few years ago who called and said he had a 7-year-old collie, and his work schedule was going to change, and he thought he would have to give her up. And I asked him at the time to use one of those nanny cam applications and see what she does all day. And when he found out she sleeps all day, he realized that keeping her wasn't going to be a hardship for her at all. So, but in the cases where your schedule involves traveling out of town overnight, and you financially cannot have someone help you to care for your dog, because oftentimes neighbors will do that. A lot of people would be in your same situation. They can't have a dog full-time, but they would love to have a dog part-time. So check that out before you make the decision to sever all your ties with your dog and bring them to the shelter. But Daisy is a great people-oriented dog who's getting a great massage right now. And she's going to make somebody really happy. Our next guest is Serrano. And Serrano is a Jack Russell Terrier, also now known as a Parsons Russell Terrier. Parson Jack Russell is all one person, and he developed this breed some time ago. And we know her real birthday, and that is October 13th. So since it's September, then we are going to hope for sure that she gets out of here by her birthday. She knows that Randy has treats in his pocket. She is, as Jack Russells go, a very calm one. Jack Russells are bred to work on farms and help farmers primarily by dispatching rats from the barn. And that's just part of the work that they do. They also can be good little herding dogs. But one of the things that people often say about Jack Russells is that their high energy makes them not necessarily good apartment dogs. And while Serrano has a very low energy for a Jack Russell, she might also appreciate being someplace where she can go on long walks and get plenty of exercise. So it's something to consider about what kind of activities you have for your dog when you get a terrier, because they're active, smart dogs that like to do stuff. And she was born in 2007 and is about, so she's middle-aged, about 6 years old. And that makes a really great dog to adopt, because you already know what her personality is, and she has lots of experience to share. She's lived with other dogs and lots of different people. So we share with you the information that the owner who relinquished to her gave to us whenever we have it, so you can find out what her experience with different ages of people and different animals is. And she's now having her little treat. One of the things you should do when you come to the shelter to visit with a dog is find out what their interest is in people versus toys, squeaky toys versus tug-of-war toys. You should see what kind of handling they're drawn to. As you saw with Daisy, who was just on here, she would rather have people have their hands on her, petting her, than play with a toy. And the reason to know all of that is so that you can picture what you would do with a dog in your home and see if the dog that you're looking at is going to like those things naturally. She seems like she is interested in the tennis ball, which is good to know if you want to play fetch and entertain her in some way. So if you think Serrano would make a good match for you or someone that you know, come and meet her. She's a doll, and I think she's going to make somebody really happy. Our next guest is Pepper, and Pepper and her sister Pepsi, who is red, are mixed labs to our best guess. They're about 8 to 10 months old, and they came to us together, and since they look so much alike and they're the same age and they seem to be the same breed type, they've probably been together their whole lives. So one of the things that happens with puppies litter mates who live together, is that they are so attached to each other that they haven't formed a lot of relationships with people, I'm guessing. So one of the things that we want to have happen for them now is that they get their own lives. Because in order for them to have a person of their own, it's kind of like twins. You know, they just communicate with each other, they feed off of each other, what's happening. So by them getting their own lives and their own families, they're going to be so much better off. She's looking at the camera now. They're a good size of dog as well. So it's kind of nice to have the features of a big dog you could go camping and jogging with, but still have a dog that's light enough that could be a good traveling companion. And a lot of apartments have weight limits, so you have to make sure that your dog's not going to be so big that they're not allowed in your landlord's restrictions. So Pepper and Pepsi are available for adoption now separately, and by all means, if you're interested, we could let the adopters of each know who they are, if you want that, so that they can still visit each other and have play dates or whatnot if you choose that. And also another advantage to getting puppies that are at this age is that they are through the most destructive of their chewing stage and very easy to house train at this age. So we'll tell you all how to do that in the adoption interview or when you come to visit. So if you are interested in Pepper or her beautiful red sister Pepsi, then come and meet them and see what you think. We are back with Isabella, and Isabella is a beautiful chow chow, and if you don't know, you might be able to see in the next couple minutes, because one of the behaviors that dogs offer when they're nervous is licking their lips. And if she does that, there she goes. If she does that, you'll see her dark colored tongue, which any dog can have dark spots on their tongue, and that's perfectly normal. But chows usually have all or most of their tongue to be dark. It looks almost purple. And they are well known for that because it's so unique, and Shar-Peis have that as well, another Chinese dog. And she is typical of chow chows in that with her own family, who I had the pleasure of meeting when they had to drop her off here, she is outgoing and wags her tail and is willing to approach people, but with strangers, not so much. And when I tell this story, I'm not meaning for it to be funny, because it's not funny at all, but this happened over thousands of years because chows were developed in a culture that in which dog meat was a food. So the chows that were willing to walk up to strangers were eaten. And so the chows that remained to guard the palaces do not approach strangers. And that's what helped them survive. So we have a breed of dog that is not trusting of strangers. And oftentimes that's very hard for them when they lose their home, because it's gonna take her a couple of days to understand that new people are gonna stay in her life. And I hope we see you next time. If you are interested in any of the animals that you have met today, then please share their profiles from Pet Finder or Pet Tango. Look at our Facebook page and see if there are pictures or video clips there that Randy's prepared that you can share with people who might be interested. Every little bit you do to help us get the word out about these beautiful animals is helpful for them and helpful for us, because every animal you help us save makes room for one more. And unfortunately for now, there's always one more. So we will see you next time on Pet Pals, and thanks for joining us.